The vibe coding market just hit 4.7 billion, almost 5 billion in valuation. And 63% of users aren't developers. I would probably guess that number's low, to be honest. So what's happening? The vibe coding / AI app builder market hit $4.7 billion in 2026 with tools like Lovable, Cursor, and Bolt leading the charge. Over 138 tools are now on the market, which I also think is low. A notable trend: 63% of users are non-developers, meaning clients, founders, and business owners are building things themselves. Um, I mean, yeah, this is what I've been preaching about from years ago. Like, this is what's happening, and it's the most exciting uh, time to be in this business and in this world. Anyone with an idea can actually bring something to life. I will say I've noticed more and more that that's not necessarily true. I'm actually working on a new service offering here at Dapper No Code that is hoping to um, kind of fix that issue, because I see more and more people building things on their own, but not really succeeding in managing them all that well. And I get this too, because we're managing over 50 client projects simultaneously built on all of these tools, and it's a lot. Like, there's a lot to keep track of. So I'm not going to get any more into that. That is something that's coming down the line. I might have ready hopefully this year. But it's a new product. It's going to be a new tool. It's going to be very, very, very useful. So that's just a little teaser for you guys still listening in here. But this flood of non-development builders just creates this massive opportunity for people like me. If you're thinking about getting into an agency type of deal, like Dapper No Code, where you can build tools for people, manage tools for people using these tools, like, there's never been a better opportunity. But there's also a threat, and I've worked through this as well, where people don't really need you anymore because they don't need a software development team. They don't need an entire coding department in their team. Now we've proven that that's not quite the case. There's probably a gray area depending on the size of the business, what your needs are, how all those things are going. I don't think that software development is dying. I think it's only growing. But you got to know how to use these tools. You got to know how to think through them. I call it thinking through the machine. And it's a blessing and it's a nightmare all at once. I was just reading an article this morning in a newsletter about the inherent security risks that are coming with all these, and that's one thing that we've been getting into and going through all of our client projects on, of going through and figuring out what can we do to harden these apps, because it's one thing to go through and be like, build me this awesome cool thing that has all this client data and all these API connections and da 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 da, and then boom, you end up exposing your API keys, which is like really the biggest issue. And then all of a sudden someone steals your open API key or your Anthropic key, and the next thing you know, you got a $5,000 bill the next day because somebody used it to run their tool on and just racked up an insanely high bill, and then you're screwed, right? So that's one thing that we've kind of gone back on and been trying to like harden and figure out with our client apps. How do we make them more secure? How do we make them less vulnerable? How can we, restructure them, give them performance updates? And that's all part of the new service offering and the different thing that we're actually working on building here. Hopefully by Q3, hopefully maybe Q4 of what we're doing here inside of Dapper No Code. I think this vibe coding market, I think it's vastly underestimated at 4.7 billion. I think it's probably a lot more. In the 138 tools now on the market, I think there's probably a lot more than that. I think somebody just counted and stopped counting when they got that high because they were just tired of it, or asked AI and he only found 138. I think there's a lot more. I've probably used over that in the 5 years that I've been, doing this. 6 years I've been doing this. But it's a very exciting time to be alive. It's a very exciting time to be in this space.